This is Voices at the Table. My name is Murray Sledge. Welcome to Voices at the Table. I have a special guest with me. Introduce yourself, my friend.
Yes, hello. My name is Twain McGee. I'm a human rights activist here in the state of Ohio, and thank you, Mr. Sledge, for the invitation.
You're welcome. Now, I did a little research on you, and we Facebook friends. I know you ran out for U.S. Senate. I mean, representative.
I recently ran for the Ohio State House for District 20.
Right. Okay. What you stopped running? What's going on with that?
Yes, so I made the announcement in late September of last year.
Right.
But then I had to suspend my campaign in early December of last year due to the fact that I'm a caregiver to my grandparents.
Oh, okay, that's a good thing. Now I know you know a lot of you know a lot of people, and you very active in the community. And I know I'm an independent. You know, I ain't no Republican or Democrat. But when you was running out, what would you do different than other politicians? Because you got a lot of politicians talk good and look good and wear good suits, but the actions speak different. But what would you do if you would have run it?
Well, here's the thing. Like many candidates, you have to shape a platform. And my platform at the time when I was running for public office as a state rep candidate was property taxes. When it comes down to, it was a lot of things, but yeah, property taxes was one, because in the inner city, basically, property taxes is a very big issue. Homeowners have been owning their homes for many years. Go from the grandmother to the great grandmother to, I mean, it just goes from generation to generation. Right. So with basically the fifth generation owning the property, the house can be in good shape, and obviously if it falls out of shape, it's a fixer upper. But as property taxes tend to go up, it's a big problem. But now the time has been talking about demolishing property taxes, basically getting rid of it. And so, but that's a problem for some people, but also not a problem for other people. So, yeah.
I know you got a lot of politician friends in Cleveland, and I'm a long-time Cleveland resident, and you are too. But the crime rate is got so bad. And what about your friends in your circle? What they're gonna do about the crime rate in Cleveland?
Well, here's the thing: Ohio is an open carry state. So when it comes down to carrying the gun, that's one thing. But also when it comes down to using the gun, that's another thing. Because I do believe in the right to bear arms. We do have the right to protect ourselves.
Okay.
We have senior citizens here who are afraid to walk down the street. We have youth here that are afraid to, walk down the street, themselves as well. If they don't have their friends, what do? They carry a weapon.
Right.
So, I mean, with that said, with the crime that is currently taking place, possibly we need to do, and as they've been promoted for years, background checks, because you have people who have been suffering from mental health who do not and should not have a weapon in their arms, because with them having a mental challenge, who knows what could happen.
I know you had on May the 2nd, you had a candidate connected with the community, and I saw that on social media. What was that about? You getting all the candidates together and then the community and meet and greet? What's that about? Tell everybody a little bit about that.
Yeah, so May the 2nd, before the Ohio primary, which was May the 5th, I had a Meet the Candidates event, inviting, it's an open invitation to all candidates of all political parties, no matter if it's independent, Republican, Democrat, to come out and meet with voters and share with them about their platform and why they should get elected. And why also voting in primaries are very important.
Yeah, I did 3 years ago. I did a walkthrough in Collinwood, and one of my programs is uplifting our community. And I noticed a lot of Cleveland public schools are closing down on the east side in the Black community. How you feel about that? Because I know a lot of parents is very upset. You got a lot of school is closing over there in the Black inner city.
Yes, it is true. One of my high schools that I did go to within my high school career, Collinwood High School.
That's what I did out there.
Yeah, it is closing down. And yes, although I did not graduate from there, but I am, as a former student there,
right.
I am a little bit disappointed, right, because it is a huge building. I believe a multiple floor building.
Yes.
And although I haven't visited the actual campus in a very long time, but it has a history, a strong history.
Yes.
And it basically called it a landmark. Mm-hmm. And so with it being closed down, almost in the verge of being closed down, I believe that mostly it's due to the fact that it could be possibly the funding. It could possibly be due to the fact that parents feel that public schools are not really teaching their kids. So they have to put their skills in private schools or charter schools in order for their students to get, children to get properly educated.
And I know you ran out a couple of years ago for Ohio House 20. How your vision was at that time for the community and your position, and why you didn't go pursue it.
So, Mr. Sledge, just to fix it up a little bit. Previously, I ran for the Ohio House District
Okay.
20 seat, but I ran for Cleveland City Councilman
Yeah.
of, at that time, then Ward 12 back in 2021. I ran against a 16-year incumbent. I'm not going to state a name. And he had never had a primary until that time. It was three of us challenging him. At that time, it was my first time running for Cleveland City Council,
Right.
but not my first time running for public office.
Right.
And I learned a lot. When you face a 16-year incumbent with a lot of money backing him, it's a heck of a challenge, though. And especially at that time, me being younger than what I am now, it was definitely a learning process. But I got a lot of name recognition,
Yeah.
and I built all that to do human rights. So it was definitely a turnout. And the way I wanted to campaign for that is because I didn't want to come as a politician. I wanted to listen to the people and find out what sources can we bring to the community to actually make the community better.
And I know, in the community on the west side and east side, I know not too long ago y'all had a coffee with a cop.
Yes.
Now tell me a little bit about that. Did you trying to engage the community? Because a lot of people don't trust the cops.
You know what? It's one thing when you have your relationship with the police as a citizen.
Yes.
Now, I do believe that not all cops are bad.
I agree.
But there are some cops that are bad. So with me as a citizen, we could try to challenge the police, but it might mostly end out on a negative way, due to the fact that trying to challenge somebody with a gun and you are not carrying a gun, or basically you were trying to respect authority in a respectful way, and they look at you as kind of like, even though you're a citizen and they look at you as like, oh yeah, you have no power. But there are some good cops out there.
Yeah.
But they just don't get much recognition these days.
Now, how often do y'all have that, coffee with the cops? How often do that? Just the second year or first year?
Well, Mr. Sledge, I was not the person who hosted the event. I attended that because one of the businesses in the Slavic Village community where I attended that, they had hosted the event. So when I got word about it, and once again, having a history of running for public office in Slavic Village, I attended the event and I got a chance to connect with a lot of police officers as well as activists and just residents within the area.
Yeah, I do a lot of volunteers out there. Me and my organization, Slavic Village, and it seemed like other people forget about them. And I know they turned down this what's that thing, the internet thing out there. They turned that down to reject that.
Oh, well, there's I wish I had more of a description of that. But there's a lot of things,
Data.
Okay, well said. So there are a lot of things that when you look at parts of the city of Cleveland, basically, you have your poor neighborhoods.
Yes.
Okay, well, or not so successfully funded neighborhoods.
Right.
Versus the, I guess, rich neighborhoods or successfully funded. And with me growing up in the inner city, I do feel that when it comes down to funding for the neighborhood, of course, you might have to connect to your council representatives for that.
Right.
Because you look at basically downtown Cleveland, for example, it has been getting a lot of investment over time. The city of Cleveland has been getting a lot of funding. But the thing is, though, our question is, as citizens, what are the politicians doing with that funding? Are you actually using that money to invest in the parts of the city that need to be funded by? Like paving streets, demolishing, abandoned buildings. But that's also another thing, because once again, you have a lot of property owners that don't live in the city of Cleveland. They reside in different states, and some of them are just owning properties just to say they own properties, but they own abandoned buildings that's been sitting in the neighborhood for like nearly 10 years and not doing anything with it. And with the residents considering that to be an eyesore within the neighborhood, they have to connect to their council person.
Yeah, I know you like 30 years old and you got many years ahead of you and you in the circle and you building up a reputation. What is your vision for the city of Cleveland 5 or 10 years from now?
Wow. Well, that I'm gonna have to
Let
run
the
for
people
mayor.
know.
But as a citizen, I do feel that Cleveland is known as one of the poorest, biggest cities in the world, or just in America. And I do feel that with proper leadership, we can change that around. Now, Mayor Justin Bibb, I've known him for quite some time, and I believe like for any politician, you will have some policies that you support and some policies that you will support. Uh, Once again, it's kind of half and half, like for all politicians for me. With him currently being reelected to mayor, hopefully his journey, the things that he couldn't accomplish within his first term, hopefully he can accomplish them in his current term right now.
What would you do different if he stepped down or he lose or you just happen to run for mayor? What would you do different?
Well, myself, I would possibly have to work with other politicians to find a way to, bring money or write proper legislation for the city, of course. And activists, they deserve a seat at the table as well too,
Exactly.
because a lot of activists, they protest, they march, but they don't really get their voices heard, because they feel like politicians look at them as like, oh, okay, yeah, so they look good marching and protesting. But the thing is, though, their voices don't matter because, they feel like they don't matter. But yet the citizens do matter because when it comes to voting, you want their vote when you get reelected or trying to get elected in. And if you're not doing your job, we as voters, we're not going to back you. We're going to be looking for new candidates.
Yeah, I noticed. I do my study on the mayor and some of the politicians. I know the councilman and the mayor deflecting and then on the same page. Just like the football thing behind closed doors, the school closing. He didn't let the councilman know, and I see a little friction between both of them. What's that about?
Well,
And that's hurting the residents, the Cleveland residents.
well, put it like this: you have different generations of leadership, all trying to work together to form some type of union to serve the people. I mean, now of course, you got a leader part of administration who has been around for decades, and then versus one who basically, I guess, a newcomer to the political arena. But I mean, I think that's where it starts. You by taking two different generations of public service and trying to have them work together to build a new line of public service.
Will you run from there?
Repeat that.
Will you run from there?
Would I run for mayor? Well, if I have to, if I have to,
Voices at the table.
yeah, if I have to. But I do have my sets on different parts of leadership, of course. But if mayor happens to be one of those ones I have to run for, then sure.
Yeah, I've been following you. I've been studying you. You're doing a lot for the city of Cleveland. You're around different people, and you the voice of the Clevelanders. You are. You are. You got good ideas.
Well, it's something, Mr. Sledge, because due to human rights, I shake hands with people on all sides of the political arena.
Right.
Republican, Democrat, Independent, Green Party, whatever you want to call it. And once again, because the issues that I represent or advocate for are human and sex trafficking, veterans' rights, and healthcare, which should not be party label matters. It's human matters. And no matter if I have to go to the White House and speak to J.D. Vance, who's the vice president now, or President Donald Trump, I might lose some supporters for saying this, but listen, they are currently in the presidential and the vice presidential seat. And if I have to go to the White House in order to connect with them, then so be it, to bring light to these issues. Now, I might disagree with their character or their policies as president and vice president, but at the end of the day, they're still the president and vice president.
Now, do you support LGBT?
I have I'm a bit open-minded. Of course, my thing, looking at different issues, of course, change over time. Of course, that's of course being around certain people, of course. But LGBTQ, I am a supporter for LGBTQ, but certain views I do have are a little different compared to what I used to think. Call me a little bit more conservative, but I do feel that as a part of humanity, they deserve human rights. Of course, I might disagree with their way of their lifestyle, of course. I was brought up in the church. But once again, they're still human at the end of the day. So, yes.
What is your vision about like all these schools is closing, and they can make some out these buildings instead of apartments. Make it like out of entrepreneurs, like restaurants, clothing stores. Instead of knocking it down and letting it sit like Audubon. Audubon been sitting over 16 years.
Well, it's something, Mr. Sledge, because you mentioned Audubon. I am a former student of
Me
Audubon.
too. Me too.
Right, well said. And for me, I feel like it's this. You can take these abandoned school buildings and really look into them, and if they need to be invested in the actual building, you don't have to knock them down, just refurbish them from the ground back up.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
new windows, new AC systems, as well as that too, and you could turn them into development housing for those who are in need, or maybe or something. You can do something with them.
Right.
But if they're in the condition of where they cannot be furbished from the ground up, then we'll knock them down and do something with the property. That's what it's that too.
And what I'm seeing, it seems like the mayor put more. I think the mayor do live downtown as well, but he put more downtown. Money downtown with $4,000 or $5,000 rent, but Buckeye area and Quincy area is a hot mess.
Mm-hmm.
It's a hot mess, but you putting all this downtown.
Well, it's one thing to just blame everything on the mayor. I mean, sure, you can do that, but not all the blame goes to the mayor. You also have to look at the city council body as well too.
Yeah, that's why I said it's flicks it, and that's not blaming the mayor, but actions. His action shows.
Of course, because I mean, for the council body and the mayor, they have to battle about budgeting, as well as that too. The mayor might have an idea about investing like $1 million or 10 grand or something like that into this. And then, of course, the body of city council may disagree with the mayor.
Will you run again?
Yes, I will. I am seeking to run again in the future. Don't know when.
Don't know when. What position?
Wow. That I don't.
Everybody know.
Yeah.
Everybody know.
That part I don't know either. That part I don't know either. For I was running for state rep at the time. It was an open seat. The current incumbent is termed out. But once again, unexpected personal things happened. And I had to drop out the race, but I ended up supporting certain candidates in certain races, which I've never done publicly. So it was kind of a new thing for me, and some were successful and some were not in different ways.
Now I think in 2010, I don't know if everybody know this, but you was an actor.
Oh my God! Yes.
Yeah, I did my homework.
Yeah, so I was so. In 2010,
What's at the table? Do my homework.
So in 2010, of course, I started high school.
Right, I know.
And I was pursuing entertainment at the time. I didn't get into politics until late 2015, early 2016.
Right.
But entertainment was always my thing.
Right.
And I think for any youth who grew up in the inner city, is either sports or music. Sports wasn't my thing. I tried, it was not successful for me, so music was more me.
And I did a lot of research on you before at the table, and back in the days you had a lot of energized. You was playing ball, and you was an actor, and you for some way your gift is helping the people, helping the community, and I seen that in you. I had a couple of my team do a background on you, and I put things together. That's why, like I said, I know you was an actor, but politics is your thing.
Yeah, you know what? Once again, it was an unexpected stumble. But while I've been in public service for basically a decade, I've ran 3 times with being elected once out of the 3. I have been basically a proud member of many organizations for years: the Northeast Ohio Young Black Democrats, the Urban League Guild, and many other organizations. My resume is pretty long, but the thing is though, so being in those positions helped me form and shape my mind and myself physically to where I am today.
Now, before we close it up, give the people the information where you be at, or what community you be at, or what meetings you be at. They can find you and talk to you, and maybe you can encourage them.
Well, I'm pretty much open to all meetings, Republican, Democrat, Independent, travel throughout the state. So I could be in Columbus, I can be in Lorain County, I can be in Summit County, I can be here in my home county of Cuyahoga County. So,
where you gonna be out this weekend?
Oh man, I have to check my itinerary.
All right. Can
Yes.
anybody reach you? You got email?
Yes, of course. My email is tawaynemcgee@gmail.com. That's TAWAYNEMCGEE@gmail.com. So
And thank you so much for being a special guest on Voices at the Table. And anybody got an upcoming event or new businesses or running out for public office or maybe any changes or maybe any issues within the community, come at Voices at the Table. My phone number is 440-650-7063. Thank you again. Take care. Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Mr. Swezz, thank you very much.
Yeah.
You did your research.